Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Hope that you're doing well, and welcome to Mini Indie Game Reviews, a place where I'll be reviewing indie titles that are short, sweet, and straight to the point. Today we're going to be looking at the indie game Altos collection, which is composed of two titles, Alto's Adventures and also Alto's Odyssey. Both games were developed by Team Alto and Serenity Forge and published through Snowman. Initially created as a game for mobile devices released in February 2015, both titles was ported over to home consoles in 2020, one of which is the version that I'm going to be reviewing today, which is the PS4 version. So let's get into it. This game looks pretty nice to look at. The day and night cycle combined with the changing weather adds to a somewhat cinematic feel to the overall experience. The environment and level is supposedly procedurally generated for both games. However, after playing for a straight hour, I quickly began to notice a somewhat repeated pattern of the level design. Speaking of environments, in the game Alto's Adventure, it's safe to assume that the setting is up on a massive mountain covered in snow, kind of reminiscent of a ski resort. This is in contrast to Alto's Odyssey that takes place in the large sand dunes, both in which would give the notion that this game is simply a cosmetic reskin of one another. But that is until you get further into the game of Alto's Odyssey. In this game, the players get to at least see somewhat of a welcome change of environmental scenery. Overall, for both games, the visuals are stunning, the animations are smooth, and there were no dips or hiccups to be found. What story? The gameplay of both Alto games is very simple in nature. The main character you control only has one ability, and that's to simply jump. This mechanic is going to be useful for dodging things like rocks and people that for whatever reason wants to stop your progression down this somewhat endless slope. If you time your jump correctly just before hitting the air, sometimes shown by this quick circular prompt, you are rewarded with more altitude, which can be used to perform flips that can be pulled off by holding the jump button mid-air long enough so your character lands back on their feet by the time they hit the ground again. This, along with grinding on things, catching llamas if you're playing Alto's Adventure, and completing specific objectives that are presented to the players challenges to perform, will help you gain points, which is cool and all, but in my honest opinion, collecting these yellow coins serves a more of a beneficial purpose to you. Once you collect enough coins, you'll be able to access unlockables like effects, items, and other things that can change the dynamics of the gameplay more into your favor. There is also this other mode in both games known as Zen mode that pretty much allows you to play the game without end and without consequences. This means that even if you mess up or get wrecked, you can just get up and keep going without having a player to just completely start over. I would suggest using this mode as a practice mode just to get familiar with the controls. The only gripe that I have with the gameplay is that during nighttime for both of the games, it can become a little bit difficult for you to see the obstacles that's coming your way. But other than that, the gameplay is pretty good. The original soundtrack for Alto's Odyssey was done by Todd Baker, a musician and audio designer who's done works for other games like Terraway Unfolded and the infamous indie title Dreams. Torrin Bardell, a musical composer who is responsible for doing works for the game Where the Cars Fall, the show Light, Lock, and Key, the 2020 movie on Hulu called Run, and the 2018 film called Searching, also helped compose some of the songs that's on this OST as well. Torrin was also responsible for doing half of Alto's Odyssey OST along with Brian Crawford. I would describe the music in general for both games as being atmospheric and serene, relaxing in tone, and in particular within Alto's Odyssey when the music swells up during moments when you catch some big air, or just riding down a long slope adds a majestic feel to the gameplay experience. Alto's collection sounds very nice with the whistling winds, and hearing the smooth sliding sounds going down the slope are primarily the two sounds that you're going to be hearing throughout both games. And to add another layer of submerging the player more into the game are the sounds that reflect the environments and the weather changes. For example, when it's raining, the thunder makes its existence known and has a nice effect. These audio elements keeps Alto's collection engaging, which only adds to a pleasant and unforgettable gaming experience. going to give this game a 7 out of 10. This game doesn't possess any deep meaning unless you want to reach for whatever metaphorical symbolism you think riding down a slope means. This game is fun and pleasing to the senses, but after a few hours, don't hold your breath if you think some significant game-changing event is going to occur. The only thing remotely to a change is how you will play when you pick up items that will give the character a helpful but temporary ability. This is a casual game, preferably for casual gamers. Something to pick up and put down once you obtain boredom, or you remember an important responsibility that needs your attention. Alto's collection is available for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, the Epic Store, and the price tag is about $10. This game is also available for Apple iOS, but you have to pay $5 for each game individually. And lastly, this game is also available on Google's Play Store for free. Check it out, let me know what you think, and be safe out there, and peace, y'all.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit up that notification bell, and I gotta go.